Let me see if I'm on mute. We got Marion. Looks like they're going to unfile those.
Call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is approval of the agenda.
I move we approve the agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion passes. Next is the consent agenda. Is there any questions on any of those items?
The only thing I noticed was on the minutes, Buck Firth, F-I-R-T-H, I think was his last name, and it says First. That was the only thing I noticed.
Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the consent agenda. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion passes. Next, public comment. Is there anybody here that would like to address the council on anything not on the agenda? Okay. Next, special reports and presentations. Wendy.
Okay. Hello, thank you. Thank you, Mayor Semino and all the city councilmen and women. We are excited to be here tonight. I'm Wendy Conover. I'm the director of the Baldwin City Library. And with me here tonight are Chelsea Paxton, who's on our board of directors, and Carl Buttel, who's our longtime board member and treasurer. Well, ex-treasurer. He just became the ex-treasurer. But he has a lot of information in his head that we want to tap if we need to. I'm going to talk through the mask, but let me know if you have questions or you want me to repeat anything. So when we were thinking about coming and talking to you, we were struck by the fact that we had a lot to talk about and a lot we wanted to tell you. So what we did was we worked together and we made a written report, which I know you guys have in your packets and you've had a chance to look at. I believe that's also on the city website, right, Laura, if anybody wants to see that in the packet. And then if anybody wants a copy, I'm happy to provide a copy, so just come see me, anybody out there listening in the public. So we have a lot to talk about. It's an 8-page report, so what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to go through the 8-page report with you. What I wanted to do instead is I came up with a metaphor that I think explains what I want to communicate about the library. So if it's okay, I'd like to actually hand something out. Would that be okay?
Yep.
Okay. Really quick.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're probably wondering what in the world that was that I just gave you. So that is, the metaphor that I came up with is, think of your library as a colorful quilt. So here we are in the quilt capital of Kansas, and your library is a colorful quilt because there are many different unique pieces that fit together to make one beautiful functional thing. That's the point that I really want to get across, is you may have something in your head about what you think the library does, but there are really many pieces to what we do, and they all work together. So the first piece I want to tell you about, the first piece of the quilt, is the traditional part that you would think about when you think about a library. This is our resource sharing. So yes, we have all kinds of books and DVDs for checkout. Other things that you might not know that we have for checkout include video games, and also we have a cake pan collection. So there's a little bit of a surprise there with that. And then this is a piece where we're looking to expand as well. So we just got a grant not too long ago, which will allow us to expand and add games and activities to the checkout. So that will be another aspect of this quilt. The second piece of the quilt that I want to talk to you about is programming. We have children's story time, teen night, programs for adults and seniors, programs that deal with mental health, well-being for teens. We have book talk. So think of this piece of the quilt as a rainbow, and there's a little bit of something in there for everyone. At least that's our intention, is that we want to reach everyone with the program. The third piece of the quilt is technology access. So that's the one that you see has a little bridge on it. It has a bridge because a really important part of this piece is that we are looking to bridge the digital divide. You may have heard that term before. The digital divide means there are folks in our community that do not have access to Wi-Fi and computers. If you're a person who has not experienced that, it can be really hard to even imagine how isolating that can be and how difficult. And so one of the services that we provide is we are that bridge. So we also have not only Wi-Fi and computers, but we recently got hotspots that we're able to check out. If you don't know what a hotspot is, it is this cool little gadget that allows you to turn it on anywhere there is cell phone service, and you can then get Wi-Fi. That's a lifesaver for somebody who can't afford to get Wi-Fi. You can check it out for 2 weeks. If there's not a whole lot and someone else is waiting for it, you can really check it out. So again, especially with some of the things that are going on now in our world, those are huge resources. I'm incredibly excited that we're also going to receive some direct aid. I was talking to Glenn and Laura about this. So that's going to allow us, it's the coronavirus CARES Act money, that's going to allow us to add 10 more hotspots that we'll have for checkout, and also 10 laptops. So again, resources that we're providing. We also do printing, faxing, and scanning, and those are services that people walk in and use every day in their library. The fourth piece that I want to talk about is local history and genealogy. This piece sort of lives in our Kansas room, which you guys are familiar with. This is such a wonderful, beautiful piece of our community that we really feel we take a lot of ownership in preserving and also making that history come alive for people in our community. So it's a big part of identity and community pride. And it really helps connect us to other organizations in our community that are doing this work. This piece of the quilt, you'll see this connects with, for example, like the Maple Leaf History display that you've seen. We've done some work with them to help provide information and get them good information. We are working on a Lucy Sullivan type themed work as well. So again, that ties with Sullivan Square. And there's just a lot of really richness in that part of what we do. The fifth piece of the quilt is support services. And these are maybe some of the sometimes lesser known services that we provide. So you may not know this, but usually for about 2.5 months out of the year, we provide free tax preparation services. This is in partnership with AARP. It's done here in this room. We take the appointments and help facilitate all of that. The AARP folks come in. They provide that services for anyone 60 or older or anyone who's expressing need. Same kind of a deal with our partnership with Kansas Legal Services and the Senior Resource Center for Douglas County. We will facilitate folks getting free legal consultation and also free documents generated for them. So on this piece, on the support services piece, you'll see a little seedling, because again, that's an area where we really want to grow. We see a need there, and we would love to branch out and offer even more of a resource center and more of a community center. So the last piece I want to tell you about is the stitching that holds it all together. So that's our staff. Our staff threads through every single one of these pieces, and they are absolutely essential. I cannot say enough about how important staff is. And last but not least, I want to say that we value and need your partnership and support. In my report, you'll see that I've outlined some budget challenges that we have and some ideas for next steps about what we could do to meet some of those challenges. What we would really love is to take a deep dive into those challenges So if you guys would be open to it, we'd love to have a work session where we really talk about all the different details in the report and ideas and about how to meet those challenges. We'd love to dig into the current mill levy cap. The cap does place a restriction, a constriction on our funding. And I think we could look at ideas about how we can make a long-term plan to deal with that in a work session. In the short term, we'd like to ask if you would consider providing at-cost utilities to the library as a way to help support. So after all that, I just want to say thank you for considering all this information, and we genuinely look forward to more collaboration and conversation. And Chelsea and Carl and I would be happy to answer questions.
Anybody have any questions for Wendy?
Well, first of all, thank you for this report. This is very clear. I've sat through a few of these reports. They've always been good, but this actually helps me understand much better how the library operates. I knew that the mills came to the library. I didn't really know after that what happens. Second of all reports should be in the form of pictures from here on out. Everybody. That helps us understand. But we appreciate what you do. I think we have the best library in the Northeast Kansas system. I was on the strategic planning committee for the library. Somehow they let me sit in on that. And I'm impressed with the amount of things that are accomplished here at this is really the people's center as far as I'm concerned. So thank you for what you do, Wendy and board.
Yes, thank you guys.
Thank
We
you.
really appreciate it.
I agree with that, totally.
Thank you, Wendy. Okay, next item on the agenda, I'm going to ask for an executive session with the council, Glenn, Blake, Ed, and Laura to join us in executive session. And for the audience, just so you know, the video continues to run, so if you're talking out here and different things, it's still up and going, so.
Do we have this written out anywhere?
I didn't see the motion.
Or not.
Well, how long do we need, do you think?
Probably aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Motion passes. We are in executive session.
You mute your mic.
Here. All right, call the meeting back to order. First item on the agenda is flag selection under old business. No, down here. Flag selection. Everybody saw the pictures of two flags that were the highest vote getters in their packets, so it is the council's job to choose the final one.
It's not an easy job.
Nope, I'm glad you guys have it.
Yeah. You make me a tiebreaker.
Yeah, I passed in a regular way, that can't happen.
I mean, they both use excellent symbolism and kind of capture the essence of everything that is Baldwin. So, just narrowing it down to 5, there were so many great submissions. Picking between these two is really tough. So I'm just hoping one of you feel very strongly about one.
I prefer number 2, actually,
Okay.
which is the Ashley one.
I'm gonna think out loud here. I'm gonna go through the benefits of both. All right, number 2.
As long as you don't turn on the movie on your.
I do know. I'm just gonna go real quick here. So number 2, I do like that the red stripe symbolizes the Santa Fe Trail. I think that's a really cool touch, and I like the sunflower kind of retro. Yeah, it kind of evokes the sunflower there, doesn't it? So then, really like that. Number 4, I really like the state of Kansas being on there, and Baldwin being signaled out there with the star, and the maple leaf, of course, is
I did really like the star in the state.
Mhm.
Part of it,
Yeah, I
you know.
do too.
And the maple leaf was cool, but it's the,
Yeah.
I really like the path on number 2, not only Santa Fe Trail, but railroad, brick streets. We were talking about sidewalks.
Yeah.
And then we kind of thought the term is pathways. It could be connectivity anywhere throughout Baldwin.
Yeah, we had that discussion yesterday in our committee meeting that, that could be symbolic for so many things, especially all the things we have going on in Baldwin with the trails and the sidewalks.
we probably can't change the designs, huh?
No, I think this is it. It really is.
No, I think that we can, if we approve this, there's more work that can be done and brought back through Lynn.
Yeah, if you all have suggestions, I could just go back to the designer and
I mean, like, I think it'd be really cool to take kind of both and meld them together, and what I mean by that is like having that path go up to the star where Baldwin is, and then outline it in the state flag. I think that'd be cool, because I think that kind of brings both designs together a little bit. Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble.
Where the star is.
But if you can explain it to me, I'll.
yeah, the path that's on the sunflower one,
Uh-huh.
it goes all the way across the state.
Are you thinking make it go catty corner?
Yeah,
No, same premise, but it goes to the star where Baldwin City is located on the state of Kansas.
Stop.
This, you see here where the star is on this one, and then the ribbon kind of goes across here.
On the other one?
Yeah. If you put this star where the ribbon ends on the other one, then it has that pathway.
So just adding the star to the other one.
Yeah,
Yes.
just tilting the
Yes.
path a little
Yeah,
bit.
just having the path come up to the star, and then having the state outlined on there.
I will say we could sit here and throw suggestions at it all day, but there's something to be said to simplicity on these flags. You don't want to get too busy, and say, well, I like the brick maple leaf that went into the, it kind of went down the road a little bit. You kind of got smaller. But then to throw that on here and then I don't know. I like both of them because they're both simplistic but say a lot. So to combine a bunch of the ones that we like and don't like, I think.
No, I was just talking about these.
I know. I'm just, you can get away.
I think if essentially you're just taking number 2, but making it shaped like Kansas and putting a star in the corner, I don't think that's gonna make it too busy.
Okay.
That's what you're,
Yeah.
I like that idea. Honestly, it solves the problem of picking between the two because it's such a tough choice.
I kind of like it as it is. I'm going to side with Corey on this, the simplicity of it. I'm trying to vision a little star up there next to basically what is a sunburst sunflower. It could be a star too, and then it just, I'm not sure. I think we should choose between the two and then work that one into the flag that we want.
Get that.
This is our most divisive issue, I think.
Yeah, important council work. Got people waiting on other stuff out here.
I don't mind the budget that we're getting ready to publish. Let's talk about the flag.
That's true.
That's up to you guys. I mean, it's your motion and your vote, so whatever the will of the council is.
This is gonna sit in Sullivan Square, I'm guessing, right on one of the poles?
It also could be on branding, it could be on coffee mugs, it could be on pens.
Well, what I'm getting at is you want to think about it sitting next to the Kansas flag, and, they might look pretty close. That's the color of our Kansas flag, too.
I think the colors could also be adjusted. Too.
Okay.
If Lynn works with the graphic designer to bring back other design of either one, I think that can be adjusted so that we could maybe put those two together.
Make it pop a little more different, differentiate it.
I think that's how we had it, the Kansas flag and the Baldwin city flag on the same pole. And the American flag on the bigger pole, right?
Yep. American flag has to be higher.
Gotcha. Well, I know that, sometimes they're on the same pole.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
What do you guys want to do?
I do like 2. It catches the most symbolism for me. 4 is wonderful. If I had to pick between the two of them, I would pick 2, and I'd maybe have the background changed a little bit. I'd be open to the state of Kansas being kind of incorporated with 4. I think that would maybe not look as busy.
I like 2 also. To me, it screams flag. They're both great designs. To me, this is a flag.
Yeah, the symbolism in number 2 really speaks to me. It's just really captured everything. If I absolutely have to pick between the 2, which I guess I do, I have to go with number 2.
I think with the sunflower, you have Kansas there, the symbolism.
Right.
I'm not opposed to, notching out the little corner to make it a state, but I think that harkens to Kansas right there. But I would like to see the colors played with a little bit.
I do have the concern that it's the same color as the Kansas flag, and it'll look too similar standing next to each other.
And the purple and blue together, I know that's indigo, but we might take a look at that too, to be more in line with the colors that we have for our city branding.
Mm-hmm.
Julie?
I like it. I wouldn't be opposed to it not being notched out to look like the state. And I kind of agree, the background could be changed, the blue, indigo, whatever it is. However, I think you have to be careful with the color because the way it is now, it really makes the other colors pop out and makes it very distinctive. So I think you'd have to be careful if you get it, you know, a paler background, it's not going to be the same effect.
Yeah.
And when you get it out in the sun, Corey, I think the sun is gonna play it different than, it's hard on
Sure.
this.
And it's going to look different on a flag than it is on paper. So,
I would think Lynn could bring back options, bring back different options of a flag.
Okay, so she'll take this flag and definitely add the star,
Well,
maybe adjust the colors a little.
Maybe on one of them.
yeah, we'll come up with a couple different variations of it, but, okay. All right. Next item is new business, budget publication for hearing. So this is just publishing the city's budget. At the next council meeting, we'll have a budget hearing before that council meeting. And then that's when the final approval of the budget is done. This just allows city staff to get it published per state law. Any questions or? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve the publication of the 2021 budget summary for a public hearing, August 18, 2020, at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Baldwin Public Library, 800 7th Street, Baldwin City.
I second it.
Been moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next item is the Santa Fe Trail Historical Society lease. Walter, are you guys here to speak on this or just no?
I've looked at it.
Okay. Does anybody in the audience want to speak to this agenda item? Okay. All right, so this is just to make sure that we're staying current. We have, this doesn't change Midlands stuff, you know, we can always go back to that, but we haven't gotten any formal written documentation back from them that they either accepted or not accepted our offer. So, this just allows us to stay on top of that, easement agreement and abide by that. If you can step to the mic and state your name and address.
Tim DeMott, 1104 Dearborn Street, here in Baldwin. To my knowledge, as of 3 o'clock this afternoon, we have not received any formal information from the city as far as agreements. You mentioned just now that you haven't heard anything back from us. To my knowledge, I have not received anything.
It was sent to your council, since you guys were using an attorney, we had to send it to your council on July 9th.
Okay, I will reach out to that again.
And I think it was resent today as well.
And AJ mentioned that he did get a notice today, right before I walked in here, so I haven't had a chance to
Yeah.
understand what it is.
And that's fine, this doesn't change any of that,
Just
so,
want clarification that, because I haven't seen that and been looking for it, so.
yeah. But we,
It was missed, we'll reach out and find out where what's taking place at,
yeah, we
but continue moving forward.
did double check and it was sent on July 9th to your attorney.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I was pretty confused seeing this, because as far as I knew, Midland was gonna accept that offer, and we were moving forward that route, but
Right.
it sounds like there's been some lack of communications for that.
Well, it's just, I think, just kind of the nature of things that had kind of been that way throughout the whole process, which, you know, there's some frustrations there, but as far as when it went to the attorneys working it out, we lost a lot of that channel, that communication. And, you know, when attorneys got other things going on and everything like that, that conduit for communication isn't necessarily as fluid as it could be in an open session. And I think that there's been some public frustration on the other side there, and I totally understand, but unless we've heard otherwise, that it's no longer going through attorneys, then we need to stay the course and go that route. So,
Is it still possible to purchase the park?
Yeah, I think if we get an agreement, I think everybody's still working down that path. We're just kind of waiting on that formal from Midland. And then, yeah, I think there's still
Okay.
willingness on our side to do that.
Okay.
It's just making sure that we have everything lined up the appropriate ways.
Okay.
So with that, is there any other questions or discussion? I will entertain a motion.
I move we approve the lease with Santa Fe Historical Society.
Second?
Been moved in second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes 3-1. Next item is property acquisition. We were approached by a gentleman to purchase his property on 56 Highway. It's been discussed in the safety committee due to the safety hazards associated with this property, as well as the finance committee on this at 109 Highway 56. So that's kind of what we're here to discuss on this. If we want to allow give Glenn the authority to negotiate how it happens, Glenn would negotiate on behalf of the city, bring the contract back to the next council meeting for us to give final approval to the contract, if we so choose. So is there any questions or any comments on that? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we authorize City Administrator Glenn Rodden to enter into contract negotiations for property at 109 Highway 56.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next is Resolution 2020-14 for the Baldwin City Rec Commission. This allows them to do the BYOB for the Cornhole League, upcoming Cornhole League in Baldwin City, Kansas. So, if there's no discussion or questions,
I guess I have a discussion point here. What is cool? No, I'm just kidding. I've played plenty. No, so this is specific to this one event for Sullivan Square, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, is this something we're gonna have to revisit over and over again?
Yeah.
More, okay. So it needs to be, it needs special approval anytime alcohol will be consumed on Sullivan Square?
yes.
Okay.
City-owned property that requires a resolution if you're going to do,
Okay.
yes.
This particular event covers a number of days also.
Okay.
It's very similar to what you approved for the golf course.
Okay.
You did the golf course for a year, for the whole year.
Okay.
So this covers like all their cornhole matches, I guess you'd call them.
Okay. But you can rent out Sullivan Square at the rec. Correct. So for if you, let's say I were to host, well, we did my wedding reception at the golf course, but let's say we were to do it at Sullivan Square, would that require another approval from the city for alcohol consumption for that particular event?
It depends on what type of alcohol consumption it's going to be.
Okay.
There's different rules.
So
for-
cereal malt versus, okay,
Yes, selling, serving, giving away.
okay.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
Different rules,
Just wanted some clarification.
you bet.
All right, if there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I had a question about the waiver, is in effect from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m.? So they have that all day and all?
Well, no, that just is the standard time that's put in there.
Okay.
Julie, if I may.
Yeah.
The event that you approved has the time in it.
When we
Under the
consent
Well, I
agenda.
know that their application said from 6 to 9, or so I was just confused on why it was different.
It's just following our code.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we approve resolution 2020-14 BYOB for Baldwin City Rec Commission cornhole events.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion passes. Next item is the KMGA appointments. This is annual. Rob has been serving as our permanent and Glenn as our secondary. Is that correct on this?
That's correct, yeah.
You serving on the board of directors.
The board, yeah.
Oh.
the USDA
So
board of
he's the
directors.
first one, Rob's the second one.
Okay, there you go. So is there any discussion or questions on this item? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move we appoint Glenn Rodden as a representative from Baldwin City to the Board of Directors and Rob Coley as the permanent to AMGA.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next is council committee reports, budget and finance quarter.
Yeah, so we met last. We discovered we discussed the CDBG funding. Susan, our grant administrator, was on the call with us, and Laura shed a lot of light on it for us as well. I think we've had 3 applicants so far, 2 who are somewhat actively for, and 2 who are somewhat actively kind of getting the paperwork in. It's kind of a long process. There's a lot of red tape with it. I know that there's a lot of people finding out that they maybe don't qualify because of that 50% low income threshold. So we were speaking with Susan, and she had recommended, at the very beginning, we had discussed getting the most money out to the most people. With such low application counts, I think we were kind of starting to, she had recommended that we allow the max for everybody, and I think that's where we're leaning toward now. So that's kind of what we had discussed there. Still waiting on applications to come in for that. And we have quite a bit of time left for the CBDG applications to roll in. Discussed the mill levy increase with the library. I think that the charter states that they can have up to 4 mills, and they've been at 4 for a number of years. Discussed moving that up to 5. And then the property acquisition was the only other thing discussed. Next meeting we have for budget and finance is the 14th at 7:45.
All right, thanks, Corey. Community development, Susan.
We just met yesterday, and several items we discussed. There'll be a couple of facade grant applications to be seen at the next council meeting agenda. We provided a short update on the community center. Updated plans that will include the commission's feedback are almost complete, so we invited the committee will probably be meeting next week to go over those revisions and start working on some community outreach strategies. And if you remember the last council meeting, there was a petition presented to us for the music downtown. So there was a survey put out, so we reviewed the feedback from the survey, which had some conflicting information. One question kind of indicated the majority wanted less music, and then the next question wanted more music. So ultimately, we decided to compromise on $50 a month. So we'd like to propose Friday, 12 to 8, Monday through Thursday, 3 to 6, and then Saturday, 1 to 8. Music downtown. So this is the future of the golf park. That was passed with previous council, but never was really finalized. So I'll eventually bring it back to the council, potential location. I'll produce some more work on that. And last but not least, Brian has been working with Marcy Penner. Marcy is the executive director of the Kansas Sampler Foundation. And she's been several projects on Kansas. She's going to be visiting Baldwin on September 30th. So Brian, I'll let you talk a little bit more about that.
It'll be, hopefully, if everything's allowed, an event that I'd like to invite the whole council and mayor to, and our staff that are involved. And then there'll be 12 spots for participants across the state that want to come and visit Baldwin City and see what it is we do here with tourism, with our downtown developments, with Sullivan Square, that kind of thing. So she calls it a duologue, like a dialogue. It'll be a 2-hour live streamed event on Facebook, and Marcy Penner, she is a force of nature. She just is she's the top-notch tourism person in this state. So she will be interviewing different groups that that have things going on in town for 2 hours, and we will kind of walk around downtown and a few other spots and show off Baldwin. It's a show and tell for the rest of the state. It'll have quite a bit of reach. One other thing that I just found out, I think it was right before the CDC meeting, is that we will have Lucy Sullivan herself will be at this. It'll be the first time that she's been back since like 1907. So got the Ouija board and texted her, and she said she could come. And so we will have Lucy Sullivan here to probably talk to all of us about our alcohol ordinances and things like that. She's against that. So it'll be a fun time. It'll be a morning event. Probably, we're not sure yet on the time, but probably like 9:30 to 11:30. The mayor has been gracious to sponsor lunch from the city for the participants, and we are looking forward to it. I will send that information to Laura as soon as I get it, and to Susan, to the committee, and then it can be given out to the council and invited, you guys. So,
Cool.
we also have our first mural bench unveiling at 9 o'clock this Saturday. Excited about that project. They were made by a local person, Brandon Kempenar, made the benches. They are gorgeous. And then the mural, our first mural, is painted by Becky Weaver, who teaches at BHS. And she has a team of mostly her family that helped out with that. And so we are excited. We will have 4 more benches after that. That's this Saturday at 9 o'clock at Sullivan Square.
Good. All right. Public health and safety, Corey.
We meet Thursday, let's see here, the 13th. Yes. We'll be at 7 p.m. on City Hall.
All right. Public Works, Brian.
4. Didn't I say 4? No, I meant to say 4. Make sure it's on the website.
This Thursday?
What's that?
This Thursday?
No, we got moved from Tuesday. I'm out of town, so we moved it to the 13th.
All right. Public Works and Utilities.
We met last Thursday. We talked about the tree removal for part of the Elm Street project. What we learned, and I think Susan knows this, being the former chair of the Sidewalks and Trails and being part of this for the last 2.5 years, is that project really did consider reducing the removal of trees. It was up to like 30 trees at one point, and now we're down to 11. The path was wider. It had been reduced so that fewer trees were removed, and also it could meander through. So we do not have a recommendation from the committee to alter the plan right now. I understand that those trees, they're important. I think this community values trees, but we also value the project, and we also understand that this project is a part of several other visions, not just the city's, but the Metropolitan Planning Organization. It's part of their bike and pedestrian plan. It's part of the Rec Commission's trail plan. So a lot of thought went into this project, and I believe it will be good. I don't anticipate kids really having bus transportation for quite some time, maybe if ever. So this is a plan to help kids get to school. I will say that the next few projects that we have, the Maple Leaf Trail project, which will run along the railroad to the depot from 56, quite a few trees will be removed as part of that. There's no plan to replace those trees. And then also the sewer interceptor project. There could be tree removal with that too. So we have a few projects where that's going to happen. So if there's information that we need, we can get with staff and get that to the council so that we can understand what might happen with those projects. That's all I got.
Legislative, Julie.
I don't have anything to report, but we are having a meeting on September 17th at 8 o'clock.
City administrator, staff comments? Anything besides the police
There's a
department?
report in there, that's the only thing I would add, so if you have any questions on that. That's the usual standard report there.
Laura?
I don't know if you all have been paying attention to the news about the CARES Act program, the funding that's available. It stands for Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security. We were able to, along with Dana and I worked on this very hard through the week, spent a lot of time on it. We're able to submit our receipts and invoices, and hopefully we'll be able to get some of those funds returned to the city that were used for all the PPE and the signs, anything that was related to COVID. So, pretty excited about that.
All right.
Appreciate you doing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks to Dana, too.
Yes.
Any council comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion passes, we're adjourned.
Just like an hour.